Let's go ahead and find our comfortable seated position. Take a few moments for yourself. Relax your eyes. One plus is that I'm going to get Hannah for one more week. This was supposed to be her last week, but I'm going to get her next week. So hopefully she can teach for us next week. For today, you're stuck with me again. In your comfortable seated position, go ahead and relax your eyes. Taking deep breaths. Completing each inhale before you exhale. On your next inhale, go ahead and sit a little bit taller, pulling your shoulders back a little further, and continuing your deep breaths. Go ahead and release your mind of any thoughts outside of this room, outside of your body. With your eyes relaxed, let's go ahead and drop our ear down to your shoulder, rolling your neck through the center over to the other side. Go ahead and repeat that a few times at your own pace. Remember not to bring your shoulder up to your ear, but your ear down to your shoulder. Bringing your chin back to center before lifting to neutral. Let's go ahead and bring movement into our shoulders, rolling forward. I want you to try to complete your circle. So try to avoid that straight line, even if it feels a little funny. Let's go ahead and reverse that circle. Exaggerate that movement. Again, try to complete your circle. Inhale as you shrug to your ears. Exhale, relax. Shake it out. Let's go ahead and swing those feet behind us onto all fours. Hands are in line with our shoulders, knees in line with your hips. As you inhale, let's go ahead and open, lifting your chin away from your chest. Exhale as you tuck and round through the spine. Repeating that following your own breath. Inhale as you lift and open. Exhale as you tuck and around, bringing that gaze behind you. Make sure your feet are not tucked in. Make sure they're in line with your calves. As you complete your last exhale, go ahead and adjust that spine to neutral. Tucking your toes under, let's go ahead and bring those knees to the outside of your mat, keeping your feet together as you sit back into that frog, rocking your hips side to side. Inhale, big shift forward, adjusting those knees back in line with your hips. Exhale as you release down to the floor. Remember, your elbows stay close to your body as your spine stays in one straight line. Inhale, pressing up into the cobra of your choice. You can press here on your forearms or up to your hands. In either position, make sure you're not shrugging or relaxing here. I want you to push down into the floor, open your chest. Exhale, elbows stay close to your body. Release back down to your mat. Pressing up back through tabletops. Let's go ahead and tuck those toes under. Hovering your knees an inch off the floor. And raising those hips and pushing it back behind you. Go ahead and pedal out through your feet as we get warmed up here. Alternating, raising your heels. Bringing that weight back to center. Pressing your head through your shoulders. Inhale as you bring your gaze up to your hands. Exhale as you step those feet forward. Let's go ahead and hold this forward fold for a breath. Remember, your eyes look behind you, avoiding that strain on your neck, looking down at the floor. Slight bend through the knees as we roll up into standing. Take your time here. Make sure that head is the last thing to come up. Big breath here at the top. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, let's push those hips back. Lengthen through the spine, swan dive, back into that forward fold. Go ahead and tuck those knees into your chest if your hands are not down to the floor. And hop or step back into that plank position. We're gonna hold here for a breath. Remember, you wanna be in one straight line. Don't let those hips raise or your hips drop. If this is too difficult and you wanna modify the position, feel free to drop to your knees. Notice how my hips are still shifted forward. So if you are on your knees, you're not in a tabletops. Your hips are still shifted forward so that core is still engaged. On your next exhale, elbows stick close to your body, releasing down to the floor. Inhale, press up into the cobra of your choice. Remember, strong through the shoulders. Don't let those shoulders sink to your ears. Exhale, release back down to your mat. Pressing up back into tabletops. From here, we're going to take our right foot forward and just shift those hips. Sink into the stretch. Take your time here. Taking your foot to the outside of your mat. Opening up the inside of your foot. You can stay here on your hands or optional, Release down to those forearms for your lizard. Using your hands to press yourself back up, rolling your foot flat to the floor. Let's go ahead and step back, sit back on your heels, go ahead and shake it out, rock side to side. When you're ready, let's switch over to the other side, starting with our tabletops, stepping forward with that left foot and taking your time to let those hips sink into this stretch. Let's go ahead and bring that foot out a few inches, opening up the inside of that foot, and optional to release down to those forearms. Let's bring those hands back to the floor, rolling that foot flat and stepping back into your tabletops. Let's go ahead and sit back on those heels, rock side to side. Bringing those hips to center before shifting into that tabletops position. Tucking those toes under, let's hover those knees over the floor. Hold here, core stays nice and tight. And shifting those hips back into your downward dog. Let's press your head through those shoulders, push those hips back. Let's try to elongate that spine here. Inhale, bring your gaze forward. Exhale, step or hop your feet up towards your hands. Tucking your knees into your chest, slow roll to standing. Heads last to lift. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, push those hips back. Swan dive, forward fold, lengthen through the spine. Hands are placed on the floor. If you need to bend your knees, feel free to do so. This time, our right foot stays forward, left foot steps back into our runner's lunge. I want you to keep your knee stacked over that ankle. Your back heel should be in line with your hip, so your feet should not be one directly behind each other. They should be in line with your hip. Take a peek, make sure that heel is not rotated in. Should be parallel with that front foot. Once you're ready, let's take our hands away from the floor and lift into our high lunge. I want you to make sure those hips are rolled under. If you're relaxed, you're gonna feel that pain in that lower back or your lumbar spine. Go ahead and roll those hips and keep it tight here. Big breath in. As you exhale, opening up over to the right, so you're twisting. Lengthen your arms and your fingertips. Inhale back to center. As you exhale, we're going to rotate our hip and heel. You should be facing me. Bring those arms overhead. We're going to push those hips back. This time we're going to open up into that wide stance. Releasing here at the bottom. Some of you may be able to place your forearms on the floor. Some of you may be on your hands. Either position, I want your eyes to look behind you. Remember to avoid the strain in your neck. If you are on your forearms, go ahead and press to your hands. We're going to raise that right arm. Eyes follow those fingertips, lifting up to the ceiling. I want you to try to put as little to no weight on that left arm as possible. If this is too difficult, go ahead and adjust your placement a little bit higher. You can use a yoga block or something in place of a yoga block. Right hand releases down to the floor, eyes follow in that direction. We're going to scoot our feet together, heel to toe. Slight bend through the knees as we lift into standing. Head is always last to come up. Big lift, arms overhead. And exhale, arms to your side. Let's go ahead and go into our balance exercise for today. So we're going to start on that right side. Finding your balance. Make sure you're not dropping your hip onto that right side. Let's keep everything level. Core is engaged. When you're ready, bringing that knee in line with your hips. So if you have a chair or the wall, feel free to hold on to that. From here, we're going to just keep our knee in the same position as we bring our foot or heel out to the side. Again, you can hold on to something here if you need to. Using those deep glute muscles, your piriformis, good for sitting if you've been sitting all day. Remember, knee stays in the same spot, even if it's just a little movement here. Finishing off with one more and release, shake it out, wobble it out. I'm gonna turn over to the side so I can be long on my mat. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, lengthen through the spine. Take your time here and release into that forward fold. Let's get ready for that sequence on the other side. This time, left foot stays forward, right foot steps back into that runner's lunge. Take your time to find that position. Peek at that back heel, make sure it's not rotated in. When you're ready, let's swoop those arms up to our ears. Remember to roll your hips under. As you exhale, let's go ahead and twist over to the left this time. Keeping those deep breaths here, team. Inhale back to center. And let's go ahead and rotate that hip and heel. I'm going to turn towards you, but you can stay where you're at. In your wide stance, take those arms overhead. Push those hips back, lengthen to the spine, and release to your hands or forearms. Pressing yourself to your hands if you are not already. Raising that left arm this time. Right hand stays flat on the floor. Remember, we're trying not to sink that weight onto that right arm. We're keeping everything light and open. Exhale as you bring that hand to center. Scooting your feet together, heel and toe. Slight bend through the knees as you roll into standing. Head is last to come up. So if your back is facing towards me, go ahead and adjust your placement. We're going to do our balance on the other side. So this time standing on our left leg. You want to grip the floor, use your toes. Bring that foot off the floor when you're ready. You should have a slight bend through the knee. Core and glutes are engaged here. Shoulders are pulled back. When you're ready, knee stays in the same place. We're going to bring that heel out. Again, don't worry about making it a big movement here. Finishing with one more. Lowering that leg, shake it out. And let's bring it down to the floor. Arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Lengthen through the spine. This time on your inhale, I want you to bring that gaze forward. Shoulders pull back. Exhale one more time into that forward fold. Hands are placed on the floor. Hopping or stepping back into that plank position. Gently releasing those knees to your mat and sitting back onto those heels. Using this time to regroup or recenter. You can choose to rock those hips side to side, maybe roll out your wrists, or you can take this time to just focus on your breath. Bringing those hands back below your shoulders. using to press them up. Press yourself up, scooting back onto your glutes. Let's go ahead and release down to our mat. You're welcome to use your hands for support here, or you can work on that core rolling or tucking those hips under as you release one vertebrae at a time to your mat. Let's go ahead and hug one knee into our chest. Other leg keeps extended out in front of us. Feel free to roll out your ankle here. Reaching for the outside of that knee with your opposite hand. Let's go ahead and allow that knee to cross over our body, allowing our hip to release, opening our arm out to the side. Rolling onto both hips. You can choose to keep that knee tucked into your chest. You can extend that leg reaching from under your thigh, your calf, or maybe even your ankle. I want to make sure that your shoulders and hips both stay on the floor. So if you're reaching and that shoulder's releasing from the floor, go ahead and adjust a little bit higher on that leg. Tucking that knee back into your chest, placing that foot on the floor. Let's go ahead and switch over to the other side. Starting with your knee tucked into your chest and extending that leg. Holding here, feel free to roll out your ankle if you'd like. Reaching for the outside of that knee with your opposite arm. As you bring that knee across your body, allowing your hip to release and opening your arm out to the side. Let's roll onto both hips, bringing that knee back into our chest. Extending that leg reaching for either under your thigh, your calf, or your ankle. Remember, we want to avoid reaching here. So keeping those shoulders and hips on the floor. Bringing that knee back into our chest, placing that foot on the floor, and sliding your heel out in front of you. Go ahead and place those hands on either side of your body, palms facing up, relaxing your eyes if they are not already. Bringing your shoulders down, away from your ears. And taking your focus to your breath. Completing each inhale before you exhale. With each exhale, I want you to relax those muscles. Feel your body melting into your mat. Take focus to the muscles in your face, your forehead, and your jaw. All the way down to your hips and your feet, making sure everything is relaxed. With your eyes relaxed, go ahead and start to bring movement into your fingers and your toes. Your wrists and your ankles. Your elbows and your knees. And finally, your shoulders and your hips. Sliding your feet flat to the floor. Making a snow angel as you bring those arms overhead. Lengthen those shoulders. And roll over to one side. Take as much time as you need to open your eyes. And when you're ready, slowly press yourself back into the comfortable seated position you started with. Finishing with our deep breaths. Inhale as you bring those arms overhead. Exhale your arms to your sides. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, relax. One more time, bringing those hands into prayer. Exhaling your hands to heart. Namaste. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and everybody stays safe indoors. If you are participating in TechMan Try and you need help with the alternatives for the classes, please feel free to reach out to me or your coach. I'm happy to help. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone, and I will see you all next week.